So last August, we shared something about Azure OpenAI. But let's recap what we learned before. So I suppose everyone you tried ChatGPT, right? ChatGPT is like a chatbot. You can ask questions and it can respond some answers. So it's developed by OpenAI, the company called OpenAI. So what's Azure OpenAI? That's basically the partnership between Microsoft and OpenAI. So it's like a managed instance. You can think about that's like a OpenAI instance running in Azure. So why Microsoft provide that? Because many organizations like governments or banks, so they have concerns like your data could be leaked because when you talk to ChatGPT, you need to send your data to their service. So if you trust Microsoft, then you can trust Azure OpenAI. So that's the benefit because they use the same instance, they have the same capability, but on top of that, Microsoft provide more based on the Azure's infrastructure. Specifically, we provide the security, networking, private networking, and also provide high availability because almost all the Microsoft services can have multiple zones, right? That's a regional availability. Also, Microsoft has reasonable AI content filtering. So basically, you can avoid some concerns about any bad things from AI. So that's the benefit of using Azure OpenAI. So how do we develop the AI applications? Okay, cool. So that's the Microsoft AI portfolio. You can see on bottom, there are some existing products called cognitive service. This service exists for quite a few years. We have some vision service like vision, speech, language, and machine learning. But there are some trained model, and on top of this cognitive services, we have cognitive search and bot form recognizer. So like you scan a form, and this service can recognize the fields in the form. Also, it's called video indexer. It can understand the video. So after the collaboration with OpenAI, how do I turn off my? Let me try. Yeah, here. So that's at the bottom, at the corner. That's the OpenAI service. So that's a new component new service joined Microsoft AI portfolio. Then on top of that, you can see almost all the Microsoft products have integrated with AI capabilities: Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, and Microsoft 365, Office, Windows, Edge, everything in AI. If you have your mobile phone, you can install app called Copilot. That's basically a similar like ChatGPT. Provide the same capabilities, but it ChatGPT. If you want to use GPT-4, you need to pay, right? You need to pay some money. But Copilot can use ChatGPT directly. It's a free version. So on top of that, we can also integrate the AI capability in your application. So that's what I want to introduce today. So how do we develop an AI application? I think basically you need to know how to write the prompt. Prompt is like a coding language. That's a coding language in Fusion. It's not like if else, if something's true, you do this, otherwise you do that. That's the current thing we are doing every day. But prompt is the language in Fusion. We need to draft the prompt and give the AI model instructions so it can do something. But the problem is the GPT models is called we call it large language model (LM). So they are prompt based, text in, text out. But the problem is you cannot predict what what the response is, because sometimes it gives you some random responses. Even you use the same prompt, possibly it gives you some different responses. But you can adjust your prompt. For example, you can specify the role of the AI model, and you can do some tasks like you can ask the AI to summarize the text or translate a text from a language to another language, or you can do some brainstorming, give you some ideas for the birthday party, something like that. So the reason here is you need to learn how to write the good prompt. We call it prompt engineering. If you Google prompt engineering, you can find lots of tips how to write a good prompt. So when we develop the AI application, we basically just write code to call the OpenAI API and send your prompt and get response and continue your task. So I'm going to show you the background, the API of OpenAI. So let's say how it works. I have too many windows. I couldn't find it, sorry. Anyway, I'll open a new page. So go to my portal. So, okay, so here, I'll just duplicate. Where's my window? What is there? Here, okay. So this is my Azure portal, and I created a resource group. So I create some resources, OpenAI and speech and Bing search. So let's look at the OpenAI. So OpenAI is like instance of OpenAI model. When you call the service, you need to get the key, get the endpoint, send request to the endpoint. You can get the result. So I already deployed some models. You know, GPT model has different types like GPT-3, GPT 3.5, GPT-4, and embedding, something like that. So I have a few deployment now.
Shouty, your screen is just black.
Oh, okay, let me try again because one I changed my setting. Okay, yours?
Yeah,
cool.
all good
So
now.
I deployed a few models like GPT 3.5, DALL-E. DALL-E is to generate some images, and also GPT-4. GPT-4 vision can recognize the images. So let's say how to send request. I shared that last time. So basically, you can ask a question. So the system message is a prompt to define the role of the AI. So like you are AI assistant that helps people find information. So I can ask a question now. What is solid? Right? You know, solid is something like blah blah blah. But I want to show you how to change your prompt to get a better response. When you define your prompt, you can assume a role of the AI model and give it a clear instruction. So I can give it a clear instruction called. So obviously you are an expert of software development. And when you ask questions, you need to explain the concepts in concise response and also show some code. Okay, that's a different prompt. And let's ask the same question and see what the response, what is solid. So this time, it will show me some code, right? Because we assume, hey, you are expert in software development. You need to teach me some code, right? So you can say this response is much better than before, right? So when you write your prompt, you can use this trick. Also, you can give it some more instructions, like give me some examples in daily life, so it can give you more examples. When you write code, basically it's something like that. You send the HTTP request. You can use Python, use JavaScript, use C#, send a request to define your OpenAI client. That's from SDK. SDK is already ready for you to use. Define your endpoint and your key and your model name, and send a message. Right, the message is basically the prompt. That's very easy to use. Just the HTTP request, a very standard REST request. So next, I want to introduce some very important parameters when you develop your AI model. So for almost all the models, you need to define the parameters like this. So it has max response, which means how many tokens you want to include in the response. Because some models has limitation. Some models can manage, like the default GPT 3.5 can manage 4,000 tokens. And there are some other models like GPT-4 can manage maybe more, maybe 32,000 probably. And the temperature and top P, there are two important parameters you need to know. It's basically to control the randomness. If the value of temperature is higher, then possibly it will give you some random or creative response. But if you use a lower value, then probably it will repeat the response. So top P is similar, but if you say the comments, basically we don't adjust the two. You need just the one, but don't just the two, but not both. Okay, try adjust the temperature or top P, but not both. They are similar. Just adjust the one. That's fine. The frequency penalty, that's the parameter to define. So if the frequency penalty value is higher, then it decreases the possibility of repeating the word. That's called frequency penalty. And presence penalty means if you have a high value for presence penalty, then it will introduce some new topics. So there are some related parameters. When you write your code, so you need to define your parameters like this. I'll give you the model name, message, temperature, max token, and top P, frequency penalty. So that's almost the same. Almost all the LLM models require this kind of parameter. So next, the question is, I can ask the LLM model to do something, but the problem is how we use that in our code, right? I'll just share the code examples here. You can see there are some C# code or Python code. I'm going to show you my code. Let's do a step-by-step practice. Where is my code? Where did my studio? Here. Okay. So I have a very simple console application like this. Yes. So this application, I created OpenAI client from the SDK and defined the system message. And I will create a message chat completion options, including the message, temperature, max tokens we just introduced before, right? And in the while loop, I will continue asking the user, what's your question? And then I will send the request to the OpenAI endpoint, and I show the response. Very simple application. So let's try. So I run the application, and let's say, okay, now I can talk to the chatbot, right? So I can ask, what is solid? You will basically get the similar response. So because the large language model is pre-trained, right? It's already know lots of different information from all around the world and maybe different languages. But the problem is it's pre-trained. It doesn't know the latest information. So I'm going to ask a question like, who is Iron Man? So the model knows who Iron Man is. But if I ask a question, who is Xiao Diyan? Do you know how it responds? Yes. It doesn't know me because I'm just nobody. So I also want to ask a question like, what is .NET Aspire? It doesn't know. It doesn't know that, right? Because the model is pre-trained already. It doesn't know the latest information, and you can also like what are latest updates in .NET 8? It doesn't know. It doesn't know either because the knowledge update in September 2021 and .NET 8 has not been released yet. That's a problem. I have a model, it can do something, but it doesn't know the latest information. How can I solve that, right? So I'm going to show you the next thing called semantic kernel. So semantic kernel is like orchestrator of AI capabilities. Because engine, I want to search the internet to get information. One plugin is a function. You define a function to do something. Like I want to translate a text, or I want to write an email. So that's called a function. And using semantic kernel, I can have a planner. So the planner is like a brain. It can make some plans to execute a series of plugins or tasks to do something. For example, I can give it a command like you write email sent to my colleagues in different countries, in different languages. That's a command including different tasks. So the planner can find the task. The task one is write email. Then it uses another plugin to translate to different languages. Then it can find another to send email to different to my colleagues in different countries. So that's a planner. Using this, we can just give the AI model the command, and the planner can automatically grab the tasks and do something. That's called AI orchestration. So what it looks like? Let's show you some examples. Yes. A plugin is very simple. For example, I want to show you here. Share the code at the same time. So, for example, the write plugin, we have some tasks called to write email, to send an email, to write a story. If you check the plugin, one function contains two files. Consists of two files. One is a config. That's the thing we introduced before, right? If you see these parameters, max tokens, temperatures, topics, that's been introduced before. And another file is the prompt. Prompt is the task you want the AI to do. Like I want to write a story, and the story is about the topic. So you can put the topic in the parameter. You define the parameter. If you look at this one, to summarize something, you can see configure similar. Right? It has some parameters inputs, yeah, and topic, and you have prompt like this. That's like how you work with ChatGPT. But plugin is already defined for you, so it's predefined function for you, and you add this capability to your AI model, to your planner, to your semantic kernel, and semantic kernel can automatically pick up plugins to do that. Let's see an example how to call that. So, say example, we can use this one. This one. I need to duplicate my screen. Sorry. I would say duplicate. Where is my code? And share my screen again. Sorry. Okay, so let's see this example. To call a function, we need to create a kernel instance, create a kernel builder, and configure the AI model, configure the endpoint, configure the K. Then we load the plugin, just load the file from the directory, and import the plugin from the directory. That's how we load the plugin. It's basically you have the brand, but now you tell it what it can do. It can write a story or it can send an email. After that, we can call the function. For example, the input parameter is I want to call the joke function. Is defined here. Fun plugin. So in this plugin, we have config. You can tell me a joke about a subject, about a topic, right? And skip prompt is like, tell me a joke about something, be funny, I want to laugh, and the input is like this. So when we call that, we all use something like that. You create a parameter and invoke the function joke and pass your parameter here. So tell me a joke about the developer mixed bug. Then we run it. Oh, sorry, I need to run the previous code. Yeah. This will introduce, yeah. Then I'll invoke the AI model. So you can see it generates the response from the AI model, right? If you give it a different parameter, you can say it gives you different response. Because in this way, you don't need to write your own prompt, but the prompt is already defined for you. So you can say in semantic kernel, it defined many different plugins for you. You can summarize, you can write something, you can generate email, write a novel, and write a story, translate, right? Many skills. Yeah, that's predefined function for you. So how do we use that? Let's go back to our slides. It also provides you some call plugins. The call plugin is, yeah, it's really annoying to adjust the layout. How do I change the layout? I mean, I don't want to, I just want to play it. I should from this. I'm sharing my. Okay, anyway, the plugin, the core plugin is basically you can write some native code. For example, when you talk to ChatGPT, ChatGPT cannot operate your local file, right? It cannot interact with your Windows or your Mac because it doesn't have this capability. But using the core plugins, you can ask it to operate a file, to open a file, or send ATP client, send ATP request, or you do some math calculation. Right, that's the plugins can do. Using plugins and planners, and you specify the role of the AI, you can build your agent. Agent can automatically execute the task for you. Next, I'm going to show you the code. And let's see how we add this capability to your AI application. So version 2. Version 2 is very similar with the last one, but the change is that I don't use the SDK directly. If you look at the version 1, I use the SDK, Azure AI OpenAI SDK. I create OpenAI client.
Are you sharing your screen?
Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. That's really annoying. Duplicate. Sorry, I'll share my screen again. Stop sharing and share again. Yeah. So if you look at the code of version 2, I don't use the SDK. Instead, I use the semantic kernel. And here, similarly, I have the chat message, right? The message. And here I can use a dependency injection to get the required service, chat completion service. It's like a wrapper of the native OpenAI SDK. And similarly, I have a while loop just to ask some questions. Okay, let's try to run the version 2. Okay. If you check version 2, I can also talk to the bot who is the. So, but the problem is it still doesn't know me, right? Because it doesn't have any information in the pre-trained model. Also, like I want to send an email. Can you send an email to my boss? Right? It can write the email, but the problem is, can you send it to my boss inbox? I will say just like boss.text.com, and it will like I want to take a 1-day leave because I'm sick. So you can see I see looks good. Send it. It says, I will send to your boss. I will ask, do you really send it? And then I apologize because AI language model, I don't have the capability to send email because it's just like, it's like a HTTP request between your client and your AI model. It doesn't know how to send emails to an external service, right? So let's see how we, I think currently the AI model is like a brain. It has a brain, it knows lots of things, but it doesn't have arms, it doesn't have legs. It cannot walk or write or do something using arms. So let's say version 3. Version 3 is a bit smarter. Version 3, I have similar code using the Semantic Kernel builder, but now I have a plugin here called Web Search Engine plugin. So this is a case in here. I want to give the bot the capability to automatically search the internet. Right? So if you remember my Azure portal, here, so you can see in my Azure portal, I created a resource called a Bing Search. Right? Bing Search is like a Bing search engine. So I can use it in my application. I configured the application using the K, and I import this web search engine to my semantic kernel. Also, I imported some other plugins like Summarize plugin, Writer plugin. I copied them here. So that's configure prompt, something like that. So now that means this semantic kernel has the capability to do something. Communicate with internet, right? So let's see how it works. I'm going to use version 3, right, and see if it is smarter than before. I will use the same question. Who is Xiaoyi? Have a guess. Does it know me now? Yeah, it knows me now, right? Because so I can continue asking, how do you know that, right? Why are you smarter now? So you can see I performed the search on the internet. That's how we import the search engine plugin, right? It can automatically grab the keywords in your question because I asked who is Xiaoyi, and so the plugin can understand, okay, your keyword is this name. So it will send a Bing search and get some information and then summarize the result and tell you. So I can also ask the model to list some links you search. Right? I want to know how it knows me. Right? So you can see it got some links about me. Some links probably not very accurate. Most of them, yeah, this time most of them are correct. But last night I found someone with same name. So this time it's performed very good. Yeah, very good. So also, if you continue to ask questions like, can you send an email to on behalf of me? It still cannot because we haven't add the capabilities to send an email, right? So next, I want to show you we really send an email. So the version 4 is another example. So here we have one plugin to really send an email. So in this plugin, we define the plugin in C# code because we can call the native code. So here we just simulated logic. We just use a task delay. But we can print a console message. We can say, hey, I'm sending you an email physically, right? You can add your logic here. You can call external service, do some HTTP request, send your request to I don't know what service you can use, but you can do anything here. You can open a file, open a local file. You can send email. You can maybe do whatever you want in the C# code. Here, I also have a planner. The planner is is to make a plan. Like when you write email, you need the topic, you need the email address, right? You need some information. So it will prompt you to answer this question. Then it can call another plugin to do that. So let's see how version 4 works. So if we say this console message, that means it works, right? Yeah, because we can do anything here. Let's see how it works. So I'm going to run application again and ask, can you write email to my boss? So it recognized that, okay, I want to write email, so I need to provide some topic, yeah, and the email address. So I want to say I need to take 1 day leave because I'm sick. My boss is Xiaodi and his email is. I can ignore this and say if you can ask me again. So you can say it lists some steps. Right? Start email and use the subject line. Yeah, and please let me know if you would like to proceed. So that's a plan. If you feel the plan is good, then you just continue to write it. So you can say it's write email. And please review the email and let me if you would like any changes. Obviously, send the email to zealand.test.com and see if you can send it. So you can this time you see this message, right? Email send. That means it called this function to send an email. So that's how the semantic kernel planner works. If you have more plugins added to your semantic kernel, it can do many things for you. That's what I want to share. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. I think that's my demo today. Any questions?
Share this application with the publish this application on internet.
Yes, I'll upload to my GitHub repo. I can share
the question because if others to use the application, and if they want to provide their own data, but if they don't want others to see their data, can you set some kind of a context, private context? So if I use the application, it's only for me and I can supply my data. the same API, another person, when they call it, they don't see what I provide?
No, I don't think so. I think the data you send to this endpoint is just between you and the OpenAI. Technically, it shouldn't be leaked.
Right. So it's one API, but the same API shared by that's one application, one API.
Oh, you mean you use the same endpoint K, right?
Yeah.
I think depends on whether you store the data in the server side. Normally, you can control the permissions. Like you can have the user ID. It's basically how you develop your application. Like I have the user ID, you have the authorization, authentication, something like that. And also you can just store the information in your local. You don't store the data in the server side. It depends on how you develop your application. Yeah. If you want to search your own data, you can use the embedding. I can show you.
Is there a concept like a conversation kind of context? Like, so it's the same application used by multiple people. You can set a conversation context that so it stays within that.
No, there are separate sessions. So when you chat with the model, you can see like in my demo, every time you send a message, you need to append the message into the history. Oh, sorry. Okay. So every time when you send a message to the AI model, you need to append your current message into the history, so the model can understand the context. If another one is using the same API, but they are different sessions.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why I think that's very important improvements. I think 2 or 3 years ago, I tried another service from Microsoft called Luis. Luis was another engine to create a bot. But the problem is Luis can kind of understand your intent, but it's very kind of stupid. Once you have different questions, it couldn't understand that. Also, it couldn't remember your history. Like I tell you something, but after a few sentences, it forgot what I said. But using the LM, we can attach the context in the history. So every time we attach the history to the model, then the model can understand the context. So, for example, I can just to show you an example.
So it's basically on us to actually make sure we don't mix up the histories between two users. So
Yeah, that's the two sections. For example, I tell it my name is Xiao Ding. Do you know me? So I can ask the question, what's my name? It can remember my name because I already told him. When I send the second message, I actually send all the conversation to it, so it can understand the content. That's a huge improvement. Anyone want to know more about AI? I can do a quick demo if I have more time. Any question?
How much for this service will you need?
How much?
Price.
It's not open actually. It's open for organizations. Personal. I don't think it's open for personal use.
Request for preview.
Yeah, it's still in preview, but the MVPs have these resources. But I can share the. I mean, you know the case. I can. You can use the K for a few days, but it's in. I mean, I pay the bill, but I have some budget, so you can have try. But after that, I'll do that. Yeah, last August we had a workshop. We shared the case, so attendees can try this case. Also, I want to maybe organize more events in the next few months. So if you have interest, feel free to join, so we can do some coding together.
You can request for the preview access. I got access.
What's that?
So you can request for the preview access.
Yes, but organization can.
Yeah.
But if you have
If you have a company, you can.
yeah, if you have a company, you can request that. Yeah. If you want to try the large language model, I think you can also try if you have a computer like using the graphic card, you can try Hugging Face. Yeah, you know Hugging Face. There are lots of models you can run locally. Yeah, you can try that, but you need a graphic card, like very strong, powerful graphic card. You can run the model locally.